Hi guys, welcome to the Savage Sports Podcast. Back at it this fine Saturday evening. I'm here speaking racquetball with Sugavan. How do you say your last name?
Sugavan Malligarjunan.
Yes, Sugavan M. I think I got it. Yep. No, not really, but that was.
You're close. Sugavan M.
Yes, yes.
People call me Suga or Sugu.
Okay, so I know very little about you, other than you play at the Clay Mountain Rec Center, and that you're a good friend of Howard.
And one more thing, that I'm a vegan.
I guess I knew that. I always forget. Short-term memory. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, and then after you do that, why does racquetball resonate with you?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I started playing racquetball when I was about 25. That's when I picked it up. I moved to an apartment complex, and they had a racquetball court in there. And that was the first time I saw it. I went to the nearest Walmart, picked up a $10 racket, and I started hitting with it. The good thing was that there was nobody else to play, and I might look like a very social person, but I like time to myself, and racquetball gave me the opportunity to hit the ball on my own in the court. And I'm not a very outdoorsy person, so indoor racquetball is an all-weather sport. And I started playing it for fun, and then 2007 I started getting serious. Teamed up with Howard, and there were tournaments in Dallas and San Antonio, and I started playing them. I got addicted to it, and I've been playing ever since.
So 2007.
That's when I started taking it seriously. Yeah.
Okay. And why? What does racquetball do that other sports don't do for you?
What does racquetball do? Well, I have particularly not been an athletic person. Mm-hmm. I'm from India. Everybody from India plays cricket. It's almost like they have it in their genetics. I tried playing cricket. I never had the skill to play cricket.
Didn't click.
It didn't click. Mm-hmm. And I played tennis, and I couldn't get it. Mm-hmm. With racquetball, though, I think there's two things. One, it's very quick, and it's always an exciting sport. But I think it goes beyond just the 40 by 20. After I started playing seriously...
Okay, hold up. Explain, what do you mean by the 40 by 20?
The court dimensions,
The court dimensions,
dimensions. My apologies, yeah. So...
Well, I know what you mean, but the listener...
Sure.
Since we're going to reach a very wide audience by the end of the year, in the thousands, we want everybody from the beginner novice player who's coming in, who's just seeing this on YouTube, clicking by and going, what the fuck is racquetball?
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
Yep. The court dimensions are 40 length, 40 width, and 20 width and 20 height, 20 feet. I believe that racquetball has helped me become a better strategist outside of the course, and that's why I play racquetball. Mm-hmm. It helps me anticipate stuff that happens at work, in life. One of my things with racquetball is somebody told me this: don't be where the ball's going, be where the ball is going to be. So don't follow the ball, but go where the ball's going to eventually be. And position yourself so that you can kind of take that and apply it to life. Plan ahead, a couple of steps ahead. And so racquetball kind of rewires you to strategize life. So in that regards, racquetball has helped me quite a bit.
I totally agree. Racquetball is like a moving chess game. It helps your logic skills. It helps your agility. And you don't always know what's coming, but when you play it enough, play it more and more and more, your mind can almost feel what's coming next.
Yeah, and if you look at it from a biology perspective, your brain is creating the dopamine hormones, right? and you get high playing racquetball. When you get addicted, I see a lot of new racquetball players coming in our club. We have this lady who's in her 50s. She just picked up racquetball. Now all she thinks about is racquetball. She's so addicted to it. At school, she's, when we're texting, she's always saying, "Oh my God, I can't wait to go play racquetball." Right? So, in that regards, people who pick it up, they just fall in love with that sport. I don't see that happen with other sports. It's something. It's unique that way.
Right, and one of the best things about racquetball, people can fact check me on this because I'm not going to fact check it again. But when I did a calculator for workout calories, racquetball is the second or third best per minute calorie burner, right behind swimming and water polo, and it's above swimming in a high intensity match.
I believe you. And again, I don't know if I'm going off course. You can, I know this is a discussion.
There isn't an off course.
Yeah,
I'll guide you back if you go too far.
Okay.
I'm the captain of the ship.
Perfect.
We'll steer it.
There are a couple of guys in there. Again, this is an all-age sport. That's the other thing I like about it, right? Not someone at the age of 60. I don't think can play a game like cricket or a game that requires certain sports. But racquetball, it's a game of strategy. It's a game of skill. You don't have to move. You can, as I told you got to be where the ball's got to be. And I know 60, 70-year-old people who will hit a serve and go stand in the right place depending on what they expect the return to be, just like chess, right? In that regard, I think the sport is pretty unique.
Yeah, we mentioned Howard earlier, Howard Walker, Hall of Fame racquetball player. He plays at Clay Madison Rec Center in Round Rock, Texas. If you want to go play him, he is willing to help you out. I played him about 2 weeks ago, first time, and he was schooling me on the court.
Oh yeah,
and physically, with his shots. And while he was walking to shots, he was giving me instructions on how to beat him.
Yep.
Although,
wow.
To his, I'm sure. I'm sure you since you're a little bit further in the time played on court.
Yep.
He doesn't have time to do that as often. But my ball is a little bit slower than yours at the moment, and so he was.
You're getting there.
Yes, of course. He was literally talking to me, telling me how to hit the shots while he was setting up his shot.
That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah. Yes, with a smile.
And that's what we need for racquetball. I think we. Okay, if I were to describe racquetball, it's a sport of glamour. It's glitz and glamour. It's style, right? How many and again, I'm sure there are people who play squash also here, but you look at squash, it can get monotonous. People going to the corner and hitting back and back and back. There's if you've seen the pro matches, they just go back and forth. But if you look at racquetball, it's so stylish. Someone could dink the ball in the front, you could run to the front and then hit it, and then you run all the way 40 or 45 feet away diagonally and you take a shot. You see that? It's very glamorous to watch.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes racquetball, in my mind, amazing.
And going,
it's the glamour.
Jumping forward to the grind my gears portion, I think one of the things that is going to be helpful is once we can convince these clubs to let us have temporary or full-time cameras in the court.
Oh yeah.
So that we can show it. I think if we get the correct angles and then slow it down to 75% to the television, I think the pro matches will be watchable for the common public. I do not think it's possible to watch a cane match at full speed for the common people. He hits the ball like his serves, I think, has clocked at 162 miles per hour. And his between the legs, I've seen it clocked. I saw it at the Longhorn Open at 91 miles an hour. Yeah. His tweener, which that's like my serve is 91 miles an hour. That's his tweener.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest I'm gonna hit. But yeah.
No, I think you're around 101 or 103 right now, based on my mental math. But tomato. We'll get a radar gun in sometime and we'll clock each other, and then we'll have a fight. No, I'm just kidding. Going to the actual what is grinding your gears portion, can you name 2 things that are really, really annoying you about the sport of racquetball right now?
Yeah.
And then one thing that you've thought about that we might be able to fix, one solution you might have thought about if you've thought about one.
Yeah, and I'm sure these solutions have been thought about before, so I'm not going to, I'm not innovating anything here. But having said that, if you look at the club we're in right now, Lifetime South Austin, look at where these courts are located, right? They're away from the gym workout area, and they're in a corner, and not a lot of people pass by.
Using court 1, our court 2?
No, man.
There's too much. We're away from the entire crowd, and so what that ends up doing is not a lot of people get exposed to what a great sport this is. At some point, I'd like to, if we start building new courts or if there are mobile courts, what I want to do is be able to build this in front of the gym. So when people are working out on their elliptical or doing their weightlifting, when they're taking breaks, they look at it and go like, what is going on here? I want more exposure, because right now, I believe this is the case with this club right here, with Clay Madsen, where the racquetball courts are completely separated from the main area.
Yes, most people don't know about it because they haven't been this far into the gym.
Yeah.
And if you don't explore every part of the gym like I like to do, I'd say very few people do that, then you're not going to find the racquetball court. And if you haven't played before, it's really menacing to come in, walk in, and ask. You don't even know if you can get a racket at the front desk, and people don't know that there's balls, and should I choose between squash or racquetball?
No.
It's a big thing in people's mind if you haven't walked into a court.
Right.
So now you described this the solution.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go finish up, and then I'll go.
No, I'm done with mine. Go ahead.
Okay. The second thing I think is important is if you look at the YouTube videos. I think you brought this up earlier. When Kane hits the ball, or any pro hits the ball, and they say it's a great point, or I want to see that rally in maybe at 50%, and then have people start the point. So there's got to be a way, like in tennis, where when the rally happens and when there's a good rally, they show that entire rally in slow motion, or they replay it, and then we jump to the next rally. I think there needs to be that coordination, so everybody gets the satisfaction of seeing a great shot in slow motion. My improvement, I think that's one of the things you asked for, is when we're recording these games, I want them to be recorded in full HD and posted in full HD on YouTube, because sometimes you can't see the ball because it's so pixelated.
Rarely can you see the ball.
Yeah.
Rarely can you see the ball. And now we have 740 and 1080p. And that's really where you can see the ball, unless it's there's only 2 balls that you can really see in a lower pixelation, which is the red outdoor ball, if it's really early in the morning and there's no shadows, or the pink ball that the women use.
Right.
So what might be interesting is if we had more orange or colorful balls so that they're easier to see.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things in tennis why the ball is so easy to track, is because it's a brighter color, and even a colorblind person can track that ball because it's a deeper color, or it shows up deeper on your eyes, and it's much easier to catch. And I also think that based on what you said, I like that, and I think we could do a timed delay showing. Yeah. And all of the men's pro matches especially should be at 75% speed when you show it on you. Like you put it and record it at 75% speed.
Right.
Because it took me a year of training in the eyes, just watching YouTube videos to be able to track Kane's ball.
Yep.
And also I had the benefit, I was a member here at Lifetime Fitness South Austin. Kane plays over here.
And this
sometimes.
is where he plays, right?
This is where he plays. I had the benefit of watching about 20 recreational matches of his, and so that also helped me work on tracking the ball. But the average person is not going to be able to track the ball like that, and so helping people, instruct them to watch it and turn the dial back to 75% or 50% speed is very important, because in tennis, I think because the ball has to travel further, the speed going off the racket is usually around 100 miles an hour, but the average speed is closer to 80.
Sure.
And that's just not true in racquetball. Like, all of the professionals are around 100 miles an hour if they hit a solid shot. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that makes perfect sense. I'm going to give you a third point. I was thinking about this. You can see that we talked about these courts being covered up and away from centers. I think you and I just talked about this too, Cody, before we got on this podcast. But trying to build mobile courts, right? All four glass walls, and put, maybe try to separate them away from health clubs, right? This racquetball is associated with Lifetime, but when you look at tennis courts, they're independent. You will see independent tennis courts in communities. I'd like to have racquetball courts separated out so people understand, okay, you don't have to be a lifetime member to play racquetball. You can be part of your community and still go play racquetball. And building all glass courts, I get it that players might be distracted, but that's what happens in squash. They got glass.
Well, have you ever you've seen the show court at UT, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the important things about the show court is you have to work on not being distracted. Because you have
agreed.
So let's say both of us are trying. This is a truism. Both of us are trying to get better at racquetball. We're both trying to move up in divisions. I'm sure you would hope that you can play pro within a couple of years if your body holds out. Is that correct?
Sure, absolutely, yes.
Okay. And
everybody dreams, and that's my dream.
Yes. And, I've talked to Howard a little bit, and he says you keep getting better. You're not going backwards. And so that's a possibility for you right now.
Yeah, sure.
Which is great. And one of the things that I'm trying to do with this podcast is broaden the view, expand racquetball's popularity.
Yeah.
And we're going to work here to help fundraise for the sport of racquetball. And I think it's going to be very important that younger guys, any guy under 40,
sure,
basically, because I know it's going to be, a lot of the older guys are going to be very helpful, but they're not necessarily going to provide the massive amount of energy, surge of energy that we'll need to get things done. And so I'm thinking work with the thought process of the players who were in the great time of racquetball, the 70s and the 80s, and use the energies of the teens, the 20s, and the 30s, so that we can start pushing forward again the sport of racquetball.
Those are very great points. Yep.
So back off of my rant, let's go back to you. Okay. When did you start being vegan? I'm getting back to your beginning comment.
Yeah. So I have a daughter who's 12 years old now. She was when she was 3 years old. This is about 9 years ago. She was diagnosed with autism spectrum, so she was on the spectrum. She had PDD, pervasive development disorder, speech delay, and one of the support groups that I spoke to said, hey, you should try gluten-free, dairy-free. Try to take eggs out of your diet. I was already vegetarian to begin with, but they said take dairy out, take eggs out. And
are you from South India?
Yes, I am.
Many people.
Yeah, they're so
lots of vegetarians.
We're vegetarians, but they eat. They do consume milk. They do consume ghee, which is butter, right? But they said you should take milk completely off your diet. Maybe take soy off the diet, gluten off the diet. And one of the things I saw, as soon as I took milk off my diet and I started drinking almond milk, taking eggs off my diet, and just substituting it for plant protein, is I lost a ton of weight. And it wasn't that I was getting unhealthy, sleep. It was actually helping me. My mind cleared up and everything. I was able to focus better, and I thought, okay, let me kind of cleaning up my diet. Let me start, reducing sugar. Let me start eating healthy. And so,
sure.
A lot of people know I'm vegan, but not a lot of people know that I also try to avoid wheat, which kind of slows me down when I consume gluten. The next day, I feel like I'm a lot slower. I also don't consume soy just because I think it's nasty. But so I'm vegan, soy-free, and gluten-free.
Okay.
And it's helped me help my game quite a bit.
That's a health choice, not a humane choice.
It's not. It's a health choice. Thanks for asking the question. The one downside to being a vegan is unlike the other meat eaters, right? And you see all the Facebook memes and stuff posted on my Facebook wall, people making fun of my veganism, but meat eaters, when you consume meat, you hold your energy a lot longer. So I have to take breaks and I have to consume a protein bar or drink a protein shake or something in the middle of my games or something like that, just because your vegan food digests a lot faster. So, but it's a healthy choice. I'm proud of it, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Sure. And I think it's really important that people are starting to learn about the vegan foods, because most people don't need to go vegan, but they should go more healthy,
right?
Because a lot of the meats and a lot of the breads, they're awful.
Agreed.
If it's not fresh, it's probably not good. And so I do my best to try and stay away from the non-fresh bread. Like if it doesn't expire in 3 days, I won't eat it.
Sure.
Unless it's out to eat.
So when I say avoid bread, I avoid the gluten-based bread. There's bread that's based off of chia seeds and millet. They taste as good, and they digest quickly, and they don't mess with my stomach as much as gluten does. And honestly, I like it.
Sure.
It's in the frozen section. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and I like some of the vegan foods. I've had to try them out because of my lactose intolerance that I developed in my late 20s. And so, like, I gave you a vegan cookie today.
Thank you for that. It's in my bag.
I gave that to you because I've had to try them because I can't have regular cookies anymore because they have regular milk, and I can't have that anymore, or I feel really awful. Now, we're getting close to the end of the interview. What's something that you want to do this year in racquetball?
Sure.
One goal that you want to accomplish in racquetball,
sure.
And then one goal that you want to accomplish outside of racquetball. And then what are some tournaments that you're going to in case people want to come see you play? And then if you want to thank anybody, or you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. I'm going to try to answer them one by one.
I'll repeat them if you need.
The first one is what do I want to do in racquetball, right?
Yeah, goal. 2020 goal.
I do want to climb into the top 200 rankings. It's one of my frustrating things has been every tournament I play, I always beat a top seed, but I'm never able to beat that second top seed to advance. So I'm always tracking a high rank, and then I'm not able to finish it. So my goal is to try to climb into the top 200. Actually, I'll do 2 goals in racquetball.
That's fine.
The second is to stay injury free, because sometimes I tend to not listen to my body, and I injure myself, and that puts me out of condition for a while. So I'm gonna try to play smart and listen to my body. And I think that's good advice for everybody that wants to pick up racquetball or are playing racquetball. Anybody that's listening in general, right? Listen to your body, listen to the weak part of your body, and try to work it. Otherwise, it's trying to catch up to the other stronger parts of your body. It's gonna tighten up or get hurt, and it'll put you out of condition for a while. 2 goals in my outside of racquetball. One goal outside of racquetball is. I think I want to try to get my daughter, as I said, is on the spectrum. I want to try to get her into some kind of sport, whether it's racquetball or tennis or soccer. I want to get her interested. I'm already seeing a lot of improvements in her. She just participated in the Special Olympics and she got a silver medal today. So I'm really proud of her. And I want her to continue. I want to continue helping her get physically stronger. One of my dreams is to have her play doubles with me in racquetball. She's also left-handed, just like me.
One of the nice things I find with people on the spectrum is that they have an extreme concentration.
Yes.
Only with things that they extremely enjoy.
Yep.
And when you get there,
you nailed it.
Yeah.
She's so good with soccer. Like, I can tell her to kick the ball to a certain area. No matter how far it is, she will kick. She knows exactly the angles and everything. It's amazing how she can do that. But what was your? Just keep asking away.
Okay, so do you have any more tournaments scheduled for the next couple of months? Go ahead and list them.
Sure.
So people can come and see you if they want to watch your matches.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking about. There's a Team India selection match. I believe it's happening in March. Yeah, it's only for Indians.
Yep.
So I think it's in New Mexico. So I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna sign up and I'm gonna go there. And I believe Howard Walker is gonna set up some tournaments in Round Rock. He set one up called the Sugavan Open last year. We had T-shirts; they were all sold out. I'm thinking he's gonna set another one up because he loves the T-shirt sales and the money that he's making out of my name. So if you all want to see me come buy my T-shirts, absolutely would love to. But
we gotta get you a logo. if Howard's gonna use your name, we gotta get you a logo. Yeah. So then once
Sugavan TM.
Once you turn pro, you can
magnificent vegan. That's what they call me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Since I'm gonna be one of the announcers, I'll make sure to keep that in mind.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome. And I know you asked me who I want to thank. I think we just had a tournament today. Jody, people like Jody, Howard. There are a lot of good players out there, but they're not necessarily ambassadors of the sport. But people like Howard Walker, Jody Morris, you have Soli, and then you have Mike Cantu from Senton. All these guys who conduct these tournaments and bring people in. I think we owe it to them because they keep the competitive landscape going. There's also the coaches. I don't want to forget the coaches for the younger kids. Sandy Long. I see her in almost every tournament.
And Rios.
Right, both of them.
Both Sandys.
Yeah, both Sandys.
We love both Sandys.
I love your Rios. You know that.
Yeah, I do get them mixed up though. But they understand.
Right. They're the passion that they show for the kids when they mid game, when the kid's nervous or when they're stiff, the affection that they show for the kids and help them go back and play. It's amazing. I think you should be gifted to have that skill. So I wish we had more people like that. They've motivated me to, when I see a kid walking by my racquetball court and I'm playing, I always carry a ball in my pocket. That's something people say, why do you always carry your ball in your pocket? I always have an extra ball in my pocket. It's because when I see a kid that's just staring at the game, I just kind of give the ball to them.
I've given away so many gloves and so many balls. I'm like, here, have my 4th glove. You need to play. I want you to play. Here's the ball. Yeah. And, if I have like 6 rackets or something, I'll give away my last racket, just to try and get more people involved.
I tell you what though, the kids, they love it. And then they want to walk in and they want to take your racket and they want to hit it. I think that's how you're gonna get them excited.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage everyone. This is, think about it this way. I used to work for a big hardware company, and the people you're supposed to thank the most is your sales reps. They're the ones going out there. They're in the frontier, right? They're going out there and they're selling your products. So, I'm in IT, but I always believe you got to go thank them. Similarly, I think you got to go thank the people that are going out and pulling all of these new people in. And we should do our job. Go out there. You see someone that's semi-interested, try to suck them in. Kind of throw the ball at them and say, hey, come on, hit the ball. And you never know. They could be the next Kane or the next Piola.
Okay, and so wrapping up, would you like to hear some of the guests I have coming up for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'd love to know.
So right after this interview, which is going to play before your interview, but Jody, I have Jody Morris coming up. I have Nick Montalbano, #1 in New York.
Yep.
I have Jessica Perea. I have Carla Ball, Munoz.
Okay.
Carla
Nice.
Munoz.
That's a good lineup.
Shane Diaz, and so many more. Right now I have 14 people booked for the next 3 months.
Right. Speaking of Shane, George Bustos, he's the one coaching her. Bustos is another, he's not in the top 10 rank, but he's an ambassador of the game, unlike anybody else. Just, he's a gentleman, a gentleman's gentleman. So just having people like that for the sport always makes people go, wow, such nice people. This sport has got to be a gentleman's sport, and people come in, and I think that's going to get more people involved. But let me play devil's advocate there for a second too. You do want the colorful people of the game, right? Tennis wouldn't be when you think tennis and when you think anger, you think of John McEnroe or people who throw their racket. Serena Williams who throws a racket and breaks it, right? It's you want people like that also. You want the fun people.
Well, wrapping up, I wanted to tell you, you are one of those people, one of the colorful people for the Austin group. You're very snarky on and off of court, and so that's why I wanted to have you on, because you're one of the characters in Austin, and Austin's one of the meccas of racquetball, and it's going to be us who brings this sport to the next level or brings it back, depending on what we do next. So it's great having you on, man.
Hey, thank you.
I can't wait to see you again next year for the next interview. I don't know if I can get this done this year, but I'm hoping that we can do, some shit talking.
Absolutely.
Well, what did I say? Shit talking on
the courts, but be gentlemen. Shake hands when we're done.
No. It was watching video.
Oh yeah.
And shit talking over the pros match. Oh, analyzing shit talking over the pros match. And you, me, and Jody all on a video call. We'll shit talk a pros match and have so much fun. And I'll make sure to get the pros. I'll make sure they don't have hurt feelings or anything. I'll make sure I get the right ones. But so far, everybody's been real nice. But yeah, again, great to have you.
Thank you so much, Cody.
We'll see you later.
Yep.